In my 50 some odd years, I have definitely seen my share of odd people and people that were outside the box. One of them was my uncle. His name was Charlie. And old Charlie lived just over into Kansas, an out-of-the-way farm to say the least. Born and raised on the same farm in the same house all his life. Good old boy, loved to fish. And we would go fishing with him, and one of the stories he enjoyed telling was the story about World War II. In World War II, a government car come pulling up into his out-of-the-way farm, and he feared that maybe a family member had been killed over there. But he said instead the two government men, they wanted him to grow a crop for the war effort. And he said, okay, what is it? And they said hemp. Another name is marijuana. And they said, we want you to grow 160 acres of this crop of marijuana. And he said they told him they'd bring him the seed and everything and adjust his planter so it would work and be able to plant the crop. And his out-of-the-way farm, and it was definitely out of the way because the last 2 miles to his house, weeds grew up the middle of the road. He also had no children, and that is what they were looking for, out-of-the-way farms with no children, and he had strict orders to tell no one. Well, he said the crop got almost 7 foot tall that summer as it got timely rains. And he said in the fall, the government came in and harvested the crop, and they paid him twice what he could have gotten on any other crop that year. Got a good cash crop out of it. And he was very happy. And they told him, though, that they needed the hemp for rope. They said when they're invading Europe and the different places that they had to fight in World War II, they were going to need lots of rope. And hemp made an excellent rope. So throughout the United States, they were picking out-of-the-way farms and having them grow that, but under total secrecy. And so his 160 acres of marijuana was grown, harvested, and went toward the war effort. And they did come back, he said, for the next 2 years. And he said to see if it had, seeded out any. And he said it was almost a joke, though, because there was always marijuana, wild marijuana, growing along the Smoky River, the river that was near him. And so he said it was a joke. But be that as it may, he told me that the first time, though, when I just, I think I was like 6th grade or something like that, and we just heard about the evil drug of marijuana. And so I asked him, did you ever try any of that marijuana? And he said, no. He said, why would I? He said, there's no reason to. He said, just over the hill, he said, the neighbor had a still. He said, I'd just take my old jar over there and get a little moonshine anytime I wanted it. Why would I want marijuana? And he was a good old boy. He lived to be 91 years old, and I never heard a person ever say a bad word about him. And in fact, he lived alone at that time, and he drove himself to town every day. And he was the only thing he worried about at 91 years old is where he was going to go fishing the next time. He was a good man. And a P.S. on this little film, if you had 160 acres of marijuana like he did back then, the street value on it today would be $50 million. And that is one of the people that I have known and seen and heard stories from in my lifetime. This is McCook's Mr. Bill. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you subscribe to my future films and look at some of my past ones. Thank you.